Greetings, everybody. My name is Coin, and welcome to another one of these little vlogs. Vlog number 5. This is going to kind of be a stream of consciousness recording. I'm just gonna say what's on my mind and kind of explain what happened last week with last Thursday up until probably last Saturday. So because Wednesday, I just wasn't that Wednesday. I just wasn't feeling great. But Thursday, my mind entered a really, really dark place. A really dark place. So dark, in fact, that it's probably the lowest point I've ever experienced. No tears, no extreme emotions, just bad frame of mind. It's probably the worst frame of mind I've had all year. There are a lot of things that go into that. I'll just distill that to 4 basic points. One is, I'm 33 and don't really feel accomplished for anything. Yeah, I have 2 channels. I house sit for people, but my friend, all of my acquaintances, all of my friends are working on their next chapter of life, and I'm lagging behind. I feel like I have nothing to live for, and I have no one. I could go on and on, but that was probably like the biggest, one of the biggest reasons for that deep dark hole that I was in. The next reason, the next of the 4 reasons is I was still recovering from being sick, being bloaty in the stomach. I still experience that on occasion, but it's tampered down. That was a small part of it. The second biggest reason, the third reason of 4, is I feel politically isolated. I would describe myself as a, left of center individual, somewhat left of center. I'm not a progressive. I'm also not a moderate Republican, like at all. That leads me to being in a place where I don't really feel like I can safely express my political views as a citizen of the United States for a number of reasons. I really feel like I just can't express those, either in public for very real geopolitical reasons, and among my friend groups and people that I talk to, I don't feel safe expressing that opinion around them either. Because if I did, I'd probably break some friendships, to say the least. And I don't really know anyone else either. I don't have a love life to speak of. I don't have anyone that I am truly aligned with in any way, shape, or form. The people that I live with, I'm certainly not aligned with. Some talk sessions are even anti-therapy at times. I feel like, that whole you talk to a therapist to feel better, right? Like that's the whole point of therapy. Well, imagine if you knew that some conversations you were going to have were just going to make you feel worse. You knew they were going to make you feel worse, but you felt you needed to have them anyway. That's what I mean by anti-therapy. You knew you were signing up for a bad time. Me dealing with that in the past 8, 9, 10 months has also contributed to this. It's the second biggest contributor I have. The last reason is just, AI and the fact that I feel like I'm just unemployable. I don't have a real job, quote unquote, to speak of. Yes, I could, put put that on my resume. I house sit and I have clients with reference numbers. That doesn't work very well for a typical 9 to 5. They're going to look at the time I spent in college trying to make something better of myself, and the lack of time I've put in toward working anything, because I was always told the impression that if you're going to school, you should focus on that, not realizing that you're sacrificing your employability when you do this. Because employers are going to take a look at your resume. They're going to take a look at your credentials and say, why weren't you being productive? We see you as overqualified or unstable. I've gotten that on a lot of different application websites. I'll go through the interviewing process, and assuming I even make it anywhere halfway across the finish line, that's usually the cited reason. Never mind the push to basically end all white collar work and give it to AI. And even some blue collar work, like entry level jobs, are just disappearing. So if you don't work in a soulless, crushing 9 to 5, making minimum wage and literally being a peon, a cog in the machine, you have no value. You have no worth. You have no societal worth. You're meaningless. You should just mulch yourself, as one certain Mencius mold bug would put it. So, finances are that fourth reason. My employment prospects are pretty grim. I am looking at internships, where the degree isn't required, and I basically just have to say, when I turned 18, I wasted my life for 15 years. That's what I have to say to do something meaningful. All of this, the channels, the housework, it's all a hustle. It's all hustling. It's not going to pay the bills. I made the fourth reason sound like it was way bigger than the first reason, but I went through and, really sat with myself and distilled those points into their baselines, because the first attempt I made at making this vlog was a lot scarier. I don't know what my future is going to look like in the coming months as the Department of Education continues tightening the screws, as employment prospects get worse, as our world, gets worse and worse and worse. As someone who has a lot of faith, I have a lot of faith in humanity, generally speaking. I may not trust it very much, but I at least have faith that it won't shoot itself in the foot. And as someone who sometimes fervently prays to God about these things, I really don't feel like I'm getting anywhere just thinking on these things. And the little, small effort I'm making toward solving any of these problems is not nearly enough. So all of that to come around and say, if you guys want to know why I was in the deep, dark place, that's why. That really is truly why. As a reminder, before we, part ways on this grim little life update. So from the 6th, that would be today at the time of recording, to the 13th, which would be next Wednesday, I will be at a client job. It's on the Google Calendar, which you guys can find by coming into the Discord server and looking at the Content Resources channel. There's a Google Calendar invite link, and if you guys have a Android class phone, you can even sync that up with your basic calendar, or you can subscribe to it. You can also do it on the Google side, assuming you've connected your Google account to your calendar app, and go from there. I update it pretty religiously. So if you guys ever want to know why things are happening the way they're happening, or what my schedule is, then that calendar is probably the best thing you could be subscribed to more than anything else. One other thing, and this is just an algorithm thing. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment along with your like if you want to make sure you don't miss any more the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, or if you just want to keep up with any of the content I make on YouTube specifically. YouTube has been trying to combat view bots or spam accounts. And so if your likes don't come with like a comment or something, like a meaningfully appropriate comment, they are scrubbing them. It would really, really help me out. And thank you guys again for the subscriptions and, following along with me. I really, truly, deeply appreciate that. My lovely senators and inductees, my name is Coinstamp. This has been another episode, this has been another vlog. Let me put it that way. This has been another vlog. I'll see you guys hopefully on the 14th, because I don't know when my clients will get back on the 13th. And with that, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.